Victor Idoko. Fascinating man, Victor. He's from Sydney, Australia, of course. Originally from Nigeria. He's there now. And son of military father, a soldier, and a teacher as a mother. Quite an interesting household it was as a child, but he has nothing but great memories. And the first introduction to saving money, where his mother said, I'll hold this money for you, and he learned how to save right away. And going into university, didn't quite know what to do. He had strong science, but then he went over to finance and found that this was his area. Today, he helps people with their wealth, with their financial planning and discovery. He's got all these accreditations. There's lots of initials after his name, and I don't really understand what they all mean, but he's got a strong passion for it. He's an author. He's a podcaster. I talk just basically the difference between finance and accounting, the mindset of saving, just purchasing stocks and investing. I mean, I find it frustrating. I'm not a day trader, but just how to go about doing it, have a plan and stick with it. But it's fascinating on discipline, given his parents, given his upbringing, how he feels about it and what he ties to it. Great conversation with Victor. I really, really enjoyed it. Thanks so much for listening and watching. Hi, I'm Joey Pinz, and here's my 45-second introduction. After starting my business in the 90s, I started developing poor habits of eating in my diet because I was working way too much. Before you know it, I found myself 340 pounds. The doctor told me if I don't lose the weight, I'm not going to see my daughter graduate. Took the next 7 months, lost 130 pounds. People think there's some secret. Ask me, how'd you lose that weight? Like there's some secret. There is no secret. How did I lose the weight? Just one word: discipline. I've had other successes in life, and I attribute them all to discipline. Now, I'm not the king of discipline, but I believe that it can help all of us. Friends, colleagues convinced me to start a podcast. The podcast mission: how do we better ourselves and society? I talk to interesting people in health, fitness, sport, wellness, business, technology, science, art, and culture. And I eventually ask them how discipline plays a role in their life. Podcast vision: growth through learning from others. Victor Idoko, thank you for your time. What's the best chess piece?
Oh, I like this. Well, funny enough, I would say the pawn.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, the quick answer's got to be queen, but you went right to the pawn. So tell me why.
Because the pawn, one, is very underrated. Two, it has the ability later on to transform to whatever it wants other than the king.
And there's many of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've never gotten that question before, so that was off the cuff. I've never thought about it. I'm like, good question. The strongest is
Of course.
actually the strongest will be the king, and the most dynamic or the most
Versatile.
versatile will be the queen. Yeah. So
Yeah, be the queen. Yeah. But they all have very important roles to play.
correct. Yeah, they can't exist independently. So
Right. Right. Do you have a standard opening move, depending if you're black or white?
yeah,
You
yeah,
do.
standard. Yeah. King pawn. Sorry, I don't know the letters, but king pawn 2 steps up. Yeah,
That's your opener.
yeah. If I'm white, that's what I'm doing. No question.
White always starts first. And if you're white, you go king pawn 2. Wow.
Yeah.
And if you're black,
If you're black, now it depends on what the person
on
plays.
what they do.
Yeah. So if they go my opening, then I'll just replicate. So same thing. But anyway, this one now is on the queen side. I'll go queen pawn 2 steps up. Yeah.
Do you
Play.
prefer to play like in front of somebody or most on the PC?
I definitely prefer in front of someone. I'm a
Yeah.
extrovert. I like people, so I'd love to do a little bit of banter as well and play with someone. But these days it's just easier on the phone. On the phone, on chess time, you jump in. You can have a 2 minute game, 1 minute game anytime. Get it done, 1 minute done. I probably play about 5 games every day. So
Do you really?
yeah, but these are 1 minute games, so really super quick. Let's assume I was early, which I wasn't today. And I was just waiting, say, for 1 or 2 minutes before. That's what I'll do. I'll just do a quick game.
In this fast paced MSP landscape, how do you stay ahead? Introducing MSPinfluencer.com, your ultimate hub for MSP news, insights, and community connection powered by Forza Dash. More than 75,000 MSPs subscribe to our MSP Influencer Pulse weekly newsletter, staying informed and ahead of industry trends. Tune in to emerging podcasts from Joey Pinz and leading MSP voices, offering essential tips, powerful insights, and success stories. Explore our multi-authored blogs, crafted specifically for MSP leaders, delivering fresh perspectives and actionable strategies. Celebrate excellence with the industry-leading Forza-MSP Influencer Awards, recognizing innovation, leadership, and impact in the MSP community. Join thousands of MSP professionals who trust MSPinfluencer.com to grow their business and expand their networks. MSPinfluencer.com, where today's MSP leaders connect, collaborate, and conquer, all powered by the Forza Dash platform, helping MSP vendors work effectively with MSPs and helping MSPs grow. So, I've never played with a timer, but you're giving me some
Oh
really
yeah,
good. I didn't think that you could have a couple-minute game, but you really can, can't you?
yeah, yeah. You can. So it's called chess time. Chess time. I always get them. They always do this chess time and just sorry, it's not chess time. It's called chess.com.
Chess to come.
Chess.com.
Oh, just chess. Oh, that's the biggest one. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you download the app on your phone, 1 minute done.
Hmm. Hmm. And it's good because it keeps you fresh. It keeps you dynamic, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Like it's a good you know how they always get you to do some quick mental games before you go into a serious meeting? It's a very good mental game. 1 minute chess. Oh my God, your brain is going on all cylinders before you jump in.
I've seen, you're in Sydney, I'm here in the States, and I don't live near New York now, but I did. But always over there, Washington Park and Union Square Park, they'd always have the chess boards out there, and they'd be playing. They'd always playing with the timer, and
Okay.
but there was just, you can never judge a person. It was somebody who I thought was homeless, was sitting there just masterfully winning all these games, and it's such a great it's such. Do you follow any of the Magnus and these big players now? Do you follow them?
No, no, I'm a huge basketball fan, and even that I don't follow these days. I just don't
Ah,
have time, so I can't follow that. Yeah, no, no, I don't.
mm.
I did the master class for what's his name? The guy, the chess guy that has it on.
The Russian, the Kasparov.
Yeah, Kasparov. Yeah, I did his master class. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
he's fascinating because he was the first one where the computer, right, the Big Blue beat him, right, the IBM
yeah,
beat him, but he said that it's not a good chess player. It only learned how to beat me specifically, not just be good at chess, right? That was his criticism, I believe.
yeah, yeah. And look, chess would always. I'm sorry, machines will always beat humans because they can
Right.
calculate three, four, five. Well, the pros can do that 3, 4, 5 moves ahead, but chess as well. They can calculate the whole game right from your opening. So,
Mm.
yeah.
That's a
So it
really
was.
good idea, though. Chess. I'm going to do that now because I do a couple things. My next question is: you're really into
Yeah.
languages. Why?
Um. Personally, look, I've always just wanted to learn how to speak another language, but I think on the mental side, it's different when you, in my opinion, it's different when you learn it as an adult. You still get the benefit as a kid,
Mm,
but
mm,
your brain just functions on on another level.
mm, mm.
Just being able to really understand and speak another language consciously, especially when you're an adult. So, I am terrible at that though. So my chess is better than my language.
Well, the problem with language is that you got to practice it.
Yeah, yeah.
Because if I do Duolingo, okay, I don't get
Oh,
paid
yeah,
from
okay.
them. I do it every day. My father's from Italy, so uh, and I do decently at it. But when I find myself in Italian conversation, I'm a bit lost still. But you still
Mm,
have to practice. Um, but languages always fascinate me. I mean, I love just kind of listening to languages, and it's you can really tell. I've been around languages my whole life. I'm from the northeast of the states, and there's people from Portugal, Poland, Puerto Rico, all these different areas where I'm from,
Yeah.
and I can always tell what my friends' mothers were saying, even though I didn't understand it. If they started whispering, I knew they were talking about me, right? And if I right, and you could just tell the way they're pointing and the way they're gesturing what they want from their child. It's just very easy to discern
Yeah, yeah.
just
That
from
is
the nonverbal
that is
communication.
so funny. Why should they be whispering in a foreign language
I
next
know.
to you? They should even go louder.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, and they don't make eye contact, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
but it's language has always fascinated me. My father spoke Italian, my mother spoke French.
Okay, oh
Um,
nice.
yeah, so I would but I was it was always English around me, and but it's still language is fascinating. Now you're in Sydney, Australia, but
Yeah.
originally from Nigeria,
Yeah, yeah, I was born in Nigeria, correct.
and the Nigerian language is English. There's no French there.
No, there's no French. We are surrounded by French speaking countries, but yeah, no French.
It is
You do
amazing.
learn a bit. Yeah, you do learn a bit in, high school and all that because they just teach it part of the curriculum. But no, we are only surrounded by French countries, and hence why I'm trying to kind of solidify my French. It's getting better, but it's very slow. I think I only have Duolingo. Before now, I want to do a few weeks in France and learn, but yeah, just
It
time
is
is a
time.
factor. Yeah.
It is time. Yeah, it is amazing how all those countries around Nigeria all speak French, and then Nigeria is that English right there in the
Mm.
middle. Yeah. In fact, Paul McCartney like recorded one of his first albums in Lagos. I remember.
Oh, okay, did he? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, language always fascinating. So what what's the difference between a financial advisor and just a money advisor?
Okay. Yeah, good question. So look, a money advisor would probably just help you manage your money alone. Okay. And what that means is, okay, they might help you with what comes in, what goes out. They might not even be able to give you investment advice.
Hmm.
And it just depends on what, I guess what the person is and what qualifications or what you're allowed to do. But to me, that's the small difference. While as financial advisors, anything around finances generally. So anything that so right from your loans to your investments to your cash flows in and out, to things like personal protection, life insurance, to other things like even business investments, business protection, all those things as well. While as in my initial thought, a money planner or money manager wouldn't be able to do that.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
What
So,
what
and
Go
sorry,
ahead.
you go.
I want to know how you got to this area. Your podcast is great. You wrote a book. I mean, you've got so much content out there. What brought you into the financial world?
Yeah, so interesting. I obviously growing up in Nigeria, your parents always wanted to be a teacher, a doctor, a lawyer,
Mm,
something fancy, and I just wanted to get into uni and get out. There was just
really?
that was my objective, and looking back in hindsight, was just the wrong thing to do, or rather, the wrong way to think about things. But it was what I wanted. So I looked at the curriculum back then, or rather the years in uni, and I was like, finance is the shortest time, and apparently you can do well. I'm like, yep, that's what I'm gonna do,
Hmm.
because I actually studied sciences in school, and I was actually very good at sciences compared to economics and and all that. So
Hmm.
to me, it was just pure maths in and out. So, started studying finance, and then I also just started learning about investments. So 3 years in, I was done with my degree, which was good. But then I then noticed that okay, with finance, you learn, you apply, you get better. I was like, oh, this is not good. I got to keep learning now.
Wow.
And 17 years later, I was still studying. So racked up a few. qualifications, learnt a lot. I have the CFA, which is one of the highest qualifications in finance and investment world. I have the CFP, which is the highest qualifications in financial planning, and I have my undergrad, my honors, my masters, and a few
Wow.
courses along the way. So, and then you look financial planning. So it kind of just led that. Okay, if I wanted to keep speaking to people and different people on a daily basis and helping people, it had to be something that helped them with money. And financial planning was the thing. I could have gone into banking, like personal banking, which I
Mm.
tried for the first 2 years, but I really loved investments. I really loved, speaking to people about investments and helping them with investments. So I heard about financial planning. It was paying better than my banking job at that point in time. So I jumped in and yeah, I actually loved it since then. So I actually love the ability to, impact some people's lives, even in ways that they cannot understand.
Mm.
Like even I always talk about the intangible benefits with financial planning, which is the financial confidence, the financial peace of mind, financial clarity. And I've literally seen people, and I love it when it happens. I've seen people come into my office. We talk about finances. They come with, some goals. I'm like, why? Let's go for something bigger. Let's do it. And I see them walk out with, their shoulders high and,
Wow.
believing they can do all these things. And we've done it, because I've seen that impact in my life as well. I started setting 10-year goals in about 2010. That's when the concept about 10-year goals, I kind of understood that. And I was like, okay, yeah, I'll give it a go. And that the only regret I have then is not having more ambitious 10-year goals, because we kind of underestimate what we can do in the long term. Because you're like, this 10-year thing of you 10xing, 50xing your income is like, oh, how am I going to do it?
Mm.
But is just a goal. And if you put it down and don't even worry about the how, maybe worry about the why do you want this? Okay, how is that going to impact your life? Are you doing it and you're going to make other people's lives better? And if all those are ticks, like, yeah, put it down, do it. And yeah, so going back, 2010 and all that, that was my one regret, not thinking big enough.
Hmm.
So now I get my clients, like literally I was sitting down with a client yesterday, and we're mapping out his finances. He's a business owner. He's running a business. He has to sell his house because he's moving into a different suburb and all that. So, but he came and he says he wants to double his income in 10 years. And he's a business owners. Business owners have a unique opportunity compared to
Hmm.
others.
Hmm.
And I guess it's hard, but it can get very easy by the time you just understand how to do things. So anyway, he wanted to double his income. I was like, why? Why just double? Like, oh, it's like, oh, like what else can I do? I was like, 20x in 10 years. Why do you just want to double as a business owner, someone running a business? You can double, quadruple, 10x your income in 1 year
Hmm.
if you make the right decisions. Like
Hmm.
literally, it then comes down to your decision making and your ability to provide value. So he was like 20. I was like, yes, let's go for 20. It's like, what do you have to lose? We go for 20. It's not like you're gonna walk 20x more. It's not like you're gonna go from working, I'll say 5-10 hours a day to 20. It's not. No,
Hmm.
you just find better ways and smarter ways to make more money. And I always tell my clients is if you don't want to make money, or you don't have the use for money, give it to charity, give it to other people that need it, that don't have
Right.
the opportunity or the
Right.
ability. So anyway, we worked. He then agreed 20x. I was like, yes, perfect. I'm happy. And then what I did after then is I then asked him, okay, 5 years ago, what were you making? And actually, I'll actually tell you, he's $1 million business. He makes $1 million every year. That's his business. So I was like, 5 years ago, what were you making? And he was like, 5 years ago, I had only $10,000 to my name and I didn't have a business. And I was like, and I wrote it down on the board. So I was like, okay, I drew a line. I was like, okay, 10 years ago, zero. Sorry, 5 years ago, zero. 5 years now, a million. 0 to 1 million. Not many people can do that.
Mm,
And then I put below, I was like, okay, now 10 years time, 1 to 20. It's like easy, easy done, and it's
mm.
all about perspective. And he actually said he had never sat down and thought about what he had accomplished in the last 5 years. And I truly believe he's a smart guy. In business and in life, is if you're smart, you're friendly, you're kind, you can go as far as you want.
Sure.
So he's a smart guy, he's friendly, he's kind, and I believe he can make 20 million. I'm not going to tell him how because I actually don't know how he's going to do it. but
Those are
but he
details.
yeah, but he walked out of my office a lot confident, and I truly believe if he goes and he writes down those goals, his subconscious will kick in.
Mm.
He will start making better decisions as to, well, how am I going to do this? And now he has the confidence because 5 years ago I said he had zero.
So, I mean, that's got to be real rewarding when working with someone. But when you were first getting involved, when you made that switch from kind of economics to finance, what attracted you? What kept you there? Was it great professors? Was it the subject matter? Because it seems like all these kind of treasures you found later in it. What was it immediately that drawed you to it? That kept you going?
Ah, uh, look, I'll say what kept me going was just and I like learning. Like I always I
Mm,
try to read a book a month and stuff like that. So I don't know, it was just the ability for me to learn and apply that kept me going. And personally as well, I started investing. I started investing 2008, 2009, around then, something. So and I could see the value, and I'm like, well, and I made mistakes. I think my first few investments that I bought, looking back, it was the terrible worst idea to buy those. So I kind of learned along the way, and look, I just know people can benefit from this a lot. And one thing tell people about financial planning, look, it doesn't 100x your income or your wealth in 5-10 years. No,
mm,
that's not
mm,
financial planning, but it gets you that financial confidence and financial clarity to, okay, if you have a business, something else that can do that, go do that. But it also helps you keep and preserve and grow that while you cannot. And when I say while you cannot, you have to sleep, you have to rest, but your money should be working every time. So if you can double to quadruple your net assets every 10 years, you're doing very well.
hmm. Victor, what's the difference between finance and accounting?
Okay, good. Yeah. So finance is and I'll use the word and hopefully people understand. Finance is how do you get finance, or how do you manage finance, or how do you utilize finance to enjoy your life, grow a company. That's finance. Like, where does the money come from? How do you structure it? That's finance. Now accounting is what is the um recording of all your numbers.
Ah,
That's accounting. It's just what's the recording of the numbers. You know, two distinctions that people don't really get until they fully understand accounting and finances. You know, cash flow is not your profit and loss. You know how you manage your ins and outs is not your profit and loss. Okay, profit and loss is, okay. What's the counting of what has come in and what has gone out? Because some businesses can make a huge profit but have no money, have no cash
mm,
flow.
mm,
So people need to understand that. So accounting is literally, and accounting is usually retrospective. So it looks at what has happened, or
interesting.
or it puts down what you want to have happened. Because in the finance world, sorry, in the accounting world, you kind of choose the um the name has just evaded me, but the method to record things. Like, there's the
Right.
accrual method, there's the cash method. You choose that, like you choose it, and then you maintain it. So it's just recording what has happened. While as finance now is, okay, well, planning, and there's a bit of retrospectiveness there, but it's more future looking. And financial planning now is, okay, how do we plan all of your finances, your money in, your money out, your investments? How do we finance you purchasing your house? How do we finance you building more wealth? How do we finance you getting the business? That's financial planning. And the good thing about the developed world is there are, standard rules, but there are always certain loopholes or way around those rules that are fine, and you can do that, but you need to know how to do it. Okay. Think about taxes now. Some people earn a lot and pay a little amount of tax. So you've found a loophole, for lack of a better word, a loophole, or you found a way to, pay little. And taxman looks at it every time. He's like, they got around this. We need to change the legislation, change the rules next time. And then they change it, and then people find new ways around it. Um, so people that don't plan properly cannot have the same ability to save and
Hmm.
do the good things they can with your money. And as I said, especially in the Western world where there's so many rules and so many guardrails, you can find all those ways. While as in the undeveloped world or developing world, they actually don't have that rule. Some of them don't even pay taxes, so you don't need as much planning. Okay, in that regard.
So is budgeting and forecasting, is that finance or accounting?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, so good. So budgeting is actually a form of accounting, okay? But it still relates to finance because now you're almost forward looking and then you're trying to plan how you manage what you will get because it's
Mm.
what you will get. It's not what you have because what you have you've probably spent. Or so if I was to choose one, I'll say budgeting is more under accounting because
And
it's just saying okay,
forecasting?
well, forecasting I would say, ooh, that's a good one because budgeting is okay. You have X amount, you stick to that X amount for
Right.
your marketing, forecasting as well. What is that X amount going to be in 2, 3 years time?
Right.
So I'll say forecasting is probably under finance. Okay,
It's the
yeah.
gray. It's a kind of a gray area.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a gray area, and I guess the way people should look at it as well is you need all. So don't just say, well, okay, now I'm just going to focus about finance. Just certain times in your business or in your life, you need a little bit more financing. If you're buying a house, you need more financing than
Mm.
worrying about, the accounting or the forecast or even the budget. Well, you still need to worry about the budget, but it's like, well, how do you finance the house? So everything needs to kind of work together still. Yeah.
It sure does. What should be the mindset when we want to save?
Yeah, yeah. Mindset should be it's your money and you're saving for yourself.
Hmm.
You're not giving that money to anyone else.
Mm.
That money you're putting aside for tomorrow, next year is for you.
Mm.
Even better for people that have loved ones that they care about dearly and they're saving for them is for them. Because some people are like, oh, what if sometimes the way the people talk about it, sometimes they almost forget it's your money. It's like no,
Mm.
it's yours, and it's actually putting you in a position where you then have a lot more for yourself and you're in a better situation to take advantage of opportunities and just have a better life. It's almost like when we're trying to save and build, I'll just say passive income so people can travel. It's like, well, for the first 5 years, you might make only 1 or 2 trips. Let's just put it that way because you're saving and trying to build something. But in 5 to 10 years' time, you've now built something that gives you your travel money every year. So rather than struggling to have 2 to 3 trips and not saving and investing and all that and doing that, two or 3 trips every 5 years for the rest of your life, you have now kind of deprived yourself a bit, so you enjoy more later on, and you're just in a better situation. So my test is more about okay, understand it's your money and understand it benefits you. But the other thing as well is build the right attitudes that is easy to do. The attitude is one thing that many people forget to do. And the attitude is, well, don't just always swipe and pay because you want to. It's a bad attitude that some people have. It's like,
Right.
yep, I'm just going to pay for it. Yep, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to get it. I don't care. It's a wrong attitude. So the attitude, people that have better attitudes save a lot more than even people that have the right strategy or even earn a lot more. So it's an attitude that, you know, um, it's almost like people that get very uncomfortable when they don't go to the gym in a week or when they don't read a book. It's just an attitude they have, but that attitude was built over time, you know. And sometimes I always tell people I'm very lucky. My parents did a good job because my attitude to money came from them. This wasn't anything I learned in uni or whatever. Obviously, now I have a full understanding and the concept of it, but my attitude came from them. Like I always give the story of how my mom always got me to save whatever I got. So back then in Africa, if you're a nice kid, you get money. Cousins, aunties, uncles, you know, friends will give you money. Like, hey, there you go for being a cool, a nice kid or whatever. So my mom would get me. She'll be like, let me hold the money for you just in case you need it later. If you want to take some of it to spend, yes, let's do that. So all of a sudden, from the first time I remember ever receiving money, that was the first thing I knew about
Hmm.
money. You keep some, you spend a little bit. You keep some, or you keep most, you spend a little bit. I think my mom probably took it too far, but all good. It's a good
Mm.
attitude to have. And this was, I'll say, 3 4 years old. That was my first memory of, oh, what's this money? And mom's like, hey, let's keep it for you. I remember, and I actually remember where she kept that first money because she was like, it's here, don't worry about it. It was under her jewelry box. She was like, don't worry, I'll keep it here. But as a kid, you forget, right?
Right.
I can't remember what happened to to that money after then. But as I said, that attitude was just built. So as a kid, I just knew you get money, you put some away, get some money, put some away. So yeah, when I started earning money, doing the same when I started running a business, was you just put some away. So
I saw one of your posts where you say, hide money from yourself.
yes, yeah, yeah, yeah. So literally is that, you know, is hide money for myself. And the reason about the hide as well, and you know, I use the word hide intentionally so people think about it. It's like hide
Mm.
money from yourself. Okay. Um, the thing about hiding money from yourself is then you're less tempted to spend it on things you don't need to.
Right.
Because when something comes up that you need to, you'll remember where that money is. But if it's just, oh, I like this, you know, I like this, and I think the examples I used is, oh, the red bottoms and Ferraris and all that. Oh, I like this car, I want to go buy it. But you're hiding money from yourself. All of a sudden, you look, you're like, oh, I don't have money, but you do have money. So and it's what we do when we help people start building the right habit. It's like, this is where, if you get a if you get paid regular at a setting time, is perfect. You get paid on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, your account should automatically just distribute that money into all your buckets. And usually I tell people have, you know, three to five buckets. After that, it starts to get a little bit hectic, you know, and that's your long term, your short term, your discretionary. So money just goes into there. So when you want to spend, you go into the bucket you're meant to be spending in. And it's like, do I have the money? I don't. Cool. I'll keep saving.
Hmm.
So that way you're not even thinking about it, because if you don't do that, what happens is people have a lump sum and then they look at the lump sum, and at that point in time they're probably thinking about their red bottom nice heels that they want to buy. It's, oh yeah, I have the money, I'll pay. But they might forget that, okay, well, uh, in a few days time there's a bigger expense that you need to pay that you might have forgotten about, that is just all lumped together. So the
Mm.
segregation works. It's actually a thing called mental accounting. So it's a
Right.
bias that, you know, uh, good financial people have turned into using it for a benefit. Mental accounting is a bias where people categorize money based on how they received it.
Hmm.
Inheritance, winning money from the lotto. People like think that, oh, that's free money. They're like, oh, I didn't work from here, I didn't earn it. It's free money. But now, so is your brain automatically just categorizing it that way? So now, when you do this for your cash flow and you have buckets, your brain automatically does that again for you. So I said, we've turned the bias into a potentially good thing.
Hey, Joey Pinz here. Want to take your podcast experience to the next level? I'm excited to invite you to become a YouTube member. It's the absolute best way to support the channel and enhance your connection. Join our amazing community and unlock the incredible perks, custom loyalty badges, exclusive emojis, and priority comment replies. Your voice will always stand out. Be the first to watch new videos with early access, receive special membership shoutouts, and get exclusive behind the scenes photos and updates. Dive into content available only to our members, special videos, deep dives, and insider perspectives. Engage directly with me. Suggest podcast topics you want to hear, and even get personalized video shoutouts. Hit the join button right now and become part of something special. Let's build this amazing community together. I can't wait to welcome you as a new member. Join the Joey Pinz family today. You wrote your book. You outlined 7 basic wealth strategies. What do you want people to come away, the reader to come away with from your book, Victor?
Yeah, so most people already know one or two, and they
Hmm.
probably already do one or two. Um, if they're doing none, then definitely a terrible financial situation. So the whole idea of the book is if you can add one of those or even do all 7, you have a very good and strong financial literacy and financial um, step to build whatever you want. Okay, so this mental accounting, I spoke about it in chapter 2. As chapter 2 has biases, so it talks about understanding your biases, and some people don't know. Like each time I tell people about the lotto thing or the inheritance or the bonus thing, they're like, "Oh, okay, actually, I actually don't think about it that way." But now you're now conscious about, so it's a bias. It's not like it's not your fault. I have biases. Everyone has biases. Anyone that doesn't have a bias, that's a bias in itself.
Hmm.
Okay, so everyone has biases, and is just using that knowledge to then benefit yourself. As I said, it's your money. Uh, so chapter 2 talks about biases, which is one of my favorite chapters because
Hmm.
yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
Why did you write the book?
I wrote the book because lots of non-financial people have written several books, and some of them have been amazing, but they only spoke about one aspect or two. But I'm like, no, in the real world, you need to deal with all 7 at least. And the thing is that some of them come up sometimes. Some of them might never come up, or you might never need it. For example, the one about protection, ensuring you have life insurance, income protection. If you're one of those few people in the world that never have to work due to injury or illness, you don't need protection, right? But no
Hmm.
one knows that. So, but it's like understanding that and even starting to build towards self-insurance. It's a good thing that people need to know, because if you and people start really zoning in on this in your 30s and 40s when they've seen a friend have cancer, they've lost a
Hmm.
loved one. They've seen some really traumatic things happen in the 20s or 30s. They have no idea. No, I shouldn't say no idea, but they don't have as much experience just to understand that these things can happen. Some people, even in their 30s and 40s, are still not had that exposure. So for them, it's like, oh, well, what could happen? It's like a lot could happen. On the financial planning side, we see both ends. When I say both ends, we see people that don't want it, and then later on they need it, and then they come back saying, what else can we do now? It's like,
Hmm.
it's too late. And then we see people that, want it and never use it. So, but we just can't predict, right? And that's and that's insurance. If you could, no one will get insurance because everyone will predict who would need it and not and not get it. So yeah, the reason I wrote the book was just to ensure that people get an idea of the 7 basic things. 'Cause I feel financial planners are the ones who write books broadly about financial planning. I'm not saying there aren't great stock pickers out there that aren't
Hmm.
financial planners. People should really understand this. I'm definitely not saying that. I'm just saying um, when people write books about stock picking, they don't talk about your biases. They don't talk about your cash flow. They don't talk about the protection you need. But that is you need that in life. Yes, learn about stock picking if you want to learn about that and read the book and all that. So and there's like I said, there are lots of books about investing because people would pick a book and and want to learn about investing. A few books about retirement, lots of books about mindset. So
Victor, I heard you say that financial clarity creates emotional confidence. Why is that?
Uh, that's very important because sometimes even if you clear that you can't achieve this goal that you thought you can in 2 years' time, all of a sudden you want either clear on other things you can do or you're clear as to um, maybe getting rid of that goal, which is powerful, right? It's the perspective you don't have versus, you know, flogging a dead horse, as they say.
Mm.
Like if you didn't know it was dead, you probably just keep focused like, what's going on? But if you know it's dead, it's like, oh, it's dead. Nothing is gonna happen. So I think that's the thing about financial clarity and just knowing what you can achieve. And I said with generally with investments, there's a certain threshold as to how much you can build with like say basic financial planning. You know, if you're doubling your wealth every year, you're doing a good job. Sorry, not every year. If you're doubling your wealth every 5 years, you're doing a very good job. Whereas if you then fall into investments that promise to quadruple your wealth every 2 3 years, you just know that doesn't sound right. Like I have a client, he says he's getting a 10% investment from this thing in a different country. I don't know, like it doesn't sound right. And there's economics behind this. I don't know if I should bore the regions with economics, but to me, it fascinates me. It's like, well, the Reserve Bank or the central banks are giving out money at a certain rate, and let's just call that rate 4%. Okay, and then there's someone else out there that's saying, okay, well, we'll give you 10% and it's guaranteed. So why is that 6% difference?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they go to the RBI and borrow all the money in the world? And if they can, why wouldn't they go to a bank that then gives them 5%? Why are they coming to you
Hmm.
to say, you give me 10, sorry, give me your money, I promise to give you 10? Fundamentally doesn't make sense, you know. So that's one of the benchmarks people should use when they're trying to gauge an investment. How risky is that investment? The closer it is to the general interest rates, the less risky it is. The farther away it is, the more risky, the riskier it is. The farther away and the more guaranteed it is, the more dodgy it is.
Hmm.
So look, I said there's economics behind that, and it's just interesting that people people don't have the right people around them to then tell them that doesn't sound right.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Well, you love it, Victor. And on your podcast, you your energy is incredible. I mean, you elevate your wealth. You've been doing it for a while. What do you like about the podcast? You definitely like it. You do a great job with it.
Thank you. I just like connecting with people. Like lots of the people I've had there have either been clients or business partners. Generally, those are two people we bring going, and I still find something new that I did not know about them each
Mm,
time. So it's a good way to connect. It's a good way to share knowledge. It's a good way to understand, what other professionals do and how they can work. So, I always tell my clients as well that your accountant shouldn't give you financial advice.
hmm,
Same, your financial planner shouldn't give you accounting advice.
right.
So you need all these professionals, and when people understand the distinction, it actually helps the well to overall economy. Because, for example, once people understand, okay, how investments work and the ups and downs, because the stock market is mainly driven by market sentiment or investor sentiment. So by the time people understand that, the I would say error in market sentiments should actually decrease. So everyone benefits from investing. So uh, a more educated base in finances helps everyone. Um, so so yeah, but yeah, podcast. I love it. Get to meet people, get to share ideas, get to tell the world as to what we do and how we can help. And
Hmm,
so yeah, no, it's a good platform. It's a good way. I was speaking to another person on another podcast, and it was like, why podcast versus blogs? I was like, well, in podcast, they get and see the you in all aspects. The visual, the audio, the how you behave, the
hmm.
mannerisms, and all that. You don't really get that on a blog. You might sense the tone and sense the person's abilities, but it's a lot different. So
Let's talk about for investments, Victor. What frustrates me, I shouldn't say frustrates me, but what I get frustrated about, and I know many of my friends do, like the idea that you want to buy stock in a company's product or service you believe in
Okay,
is one particular strategy, but it's not generally effective because what you think is good and what Wall Street think is good could sometimes be very different. Right.
correct.
I don't Disney, let's say, and I
Yeah.
go to the parks and I love everything they do. But, lately Wall Street doesn't like Disney because some of the decisions they're making, so how does one, I've been told have a plan and stick to it. When a stock gets to a certain point, you sell it, you don't make it, you just stick to it. This is what Warren Buffett says, right? Have a
Mm,
long-term plan. But
yeah.
it's frustrating to me when Wall Street all of a sudden takes the stock down because I don't know, something quite arbitrary, which seems arbitrary to me, happens. But how do you get over that? I guess that's kind of short-term thinking, isn't
Yeah. So the thing about picking the right stock as well is, you know, there's just so many things to think about. But
it?
what people need to know is, one, I always say you need to be able to back out of a stock uh, if the information you have now gotten changes the future perspective of that company.
Hmm.
I know Warren Buffett talks about sticking to it, but he's talking more about the strategy. And every
Interesting.
strategy should have an exit plan. Okay, because you can buy a stock at a certain time, you're doing well, but if the management changes and if the um, future opportunities of that stock changes, you need to reconsider your decision. And I'll give an example. Like probably 20 years ago, printing businesses were making lots of money. So if you're running a printing business, you're just making money
You're
because
printing money.
yeah, exactly. You're printing money, but fast forward now where people don't need as much
Not
printing,
anymore.
people
Yeah.
are more environmentally friendly. It might not be the best model or company to invest in. I'm not saying there might be some printing businesses that do unique things. But that is an example of when, okay, well, 10, 20 years ago it was a great company, great industry. But now it's like, well, fundamentals have changed, so you really need to reassess. So, and the thing with market sentiment or with Wall Street versus individually, generally, uh, there's a bit of awareness in there as well. So you need to understand why Wall Street thinks this is not or may not be a good stock versus
Mm,
you.
mm.
It's almost okay. Why should I do it? Why shouldn't I do it? Understand that, because sometimes Wall Street might not want to do it as well because then maybe they can invest in that company again. I'm sorry, Disney is not a Disney's case doesn't apply to this, but it might be Wall Street needs. They generally are very fund managers. They generally have like a threshold or certain benchmarks they use that is not publicly known. So it's like, well, even though they're getting rid of stock, it doesn't mean it's a bad stock. It just means that, well, if you don't understand why you're not sure and you're truly confident about your reasons why, you stick to your strategy, going back to Warren Buffett's quote. So you can stick to that over time. So stock picking, I don't like it for the average person.
Mm.
Okay. If you have some intel into that industry more than others, I think in my book I gave an example about a surgeon who um, knows that, okay, when he gives surgery, there's this particular thing that is needed and is not created, and then there's this company that's creating it, and then he's like, yes, and that surgeon as well understands finance and accounting to understand the books of that company and be like, yes, okay, that's what we need. No one else is creating in the world. That's gonna go gangbusters. So let's invest in it. That's a very niche knowledge that an average person wouldn't have. But if you don't have any of that niche knowledge, you're better off just going with the balanced, diversified portfolio than trying to stock pick, because it's a skill, and that skill comes over time. And if you're doing it 1 2 hours a day, you're not gonna get that skill in 10 years time. So it's almost a waste of your time. While is
Wow.
if I rather people go increase to human capital. So I speak about this in the book as well.
Yeah, you
Human
do.
capital is the yeah, human capital is the um your quickest way to wealth, and is the quickest way to, like, for lack of a better word, I'll even call it almost guaranteed wealth, right? Because you are more valuable to a company, you are more valuable to someone, you get paid more, you save more, you invest more, you make more money. You know, I gave the example earlier about business owners who can quadruple their income in 1 year. You know, PAYG, people that are employed, you may not be able to do that, but you can still make yourself 10, 20% more valuable every year. At a, if you're making yourself 20% more valuable every year, you should be, you know, doubling your income every 3 to 5 years. That's still very good. That's very good. So to me, I rather people take the time, I don't know, read something or educate themselves or network with the right people in that industry so they get ahead versus trying to pick a stock, because you may be disappointed as to how it works. And the thing about the stock market, it's very sentiment driven.
Yes.
So a stock falls out of favor, and this is how Warren Buffett invests. Right? I'm using first name terms like I know him.
Sure.
This is
We all
how
know what
Warren
you mean.
Buffett. This is how Warren Buffett invests, because he looks at the stock, he fully understands it. He just knows it's falling out of sentiment in the market, but it's a very valuable company. He buys and he just waits, because the market generally values a company based on how how they feel. It's not really anything. That's why in crisis is generally a good time to buy stocks, because the market is saying, "Oh no, we don't like companies. No, we're scared about losing money," but the fundamentals of those companies haven't really changed. So it's like, yeah, it's going to the store and everything's on discount generally when the crisis on.
Yeah, and I don't mean to be so kind of American centric, but by mentioning Wall Street, but even the Fortune 500. Now, I could be wrong on these numbers. I know it's somewhere close, but like 90% of the Fortune 500 companies now were not even Fortune 500 20 years ago. And
Yeah,
so
yeah,
20 years from now, whoever's there, 90% aren't going to be there.
correct.
So it's just, and we have the Magnificent Seven now, which is what Tesla, Microsoft, Google. It has like the seven pretty
Yeah.
much tech companies, but it all seems to be driven by tech. But it's just so much. It's just so much, Victor, and it's frustrating. I don't want to keep up, and I don't have the stomach for it. And I have some kind of you know friends that what are they day trade, right? They day trade and they talk about with certain stocks and everything. I don't know. It's like Las Vegas to me. I don't have the stomach for this. I don't want to throw the dice every day.
Yeah. So and some people relate it to gambling. It's definitely not gambling.
That's right. I heard you say that.
You
It's
know,
not
so
gambling. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
but yes, it can feel that way. For people that don't have any idea, it can definitely feel that way. So look, some people have made money and it works. Some people haven't. But
Right.
if you haven't and you want to invest, I'd say consider more broad-based approach
Hmm.
versus trying to stock pick. You might be very very disappointed with your abilities, and there's nothing wrong with that. I'm very disappointed with my abilities in trying to learn French for the
Mm.
last 5 years. It's
Mm.
disappointing. It is not my skill. My skill is wealth management, financial planning, and so yeah,
Hmm.
it's no one can have all the skills. Comparative advantage.
That's
So
right. And there's a little bit of luck there. I mean, just like with any endeavor, right? I mean, and diversify, of course. Has there been anything, Victor, in the last month or so that you've changed your mind on?
yeah, good question. Um, okay, this hasn't been the last month. It's been over the last year. So before now, I really did not like my clients buying apartments.
Huh. Real
Okay.
estate.
Yeah, no, apartments versus houses.
Ah,
Yeah. So I just didn't really like it. But I said I always study. I always try to. Okay, well, no, why should they? And maybe it was just with the people I was dealing with, where we had the option too. Okay.
I see.
So in last year, I've come to really understand that, okay, to really build and on the it's good to really understand the jurisdiction you're in, because then you really understand how things work. So um if you want to build significant amount of wealth, but you don't want to really personally exert yourself, Personal exertion is you working harder, right? You don't want to personally exert yourself. There are certain ways you can do that, and sometimes renting for an extended period of time because we're trying to save for a house versus getting into an apartment and then doing other things is not the best
Hmm.
strategy. Okay,
Hmm.
so I've recently changed my thinking on that too. I still would not prefer my clients to buy an apartment, but there are a certain, I'll say 5% of clients that would probably be the best thing for us to do. And even before now, if clients really wanted to buy an apartment, I didn't stop them because it's still a step ahead. But I rather people rather than buy saying, okay, I have the money now to buy an apartment, I'll say, okay, can we then buy a house in 1 or 2 years? And if they could, I'll be like, okay, well, let's
I
consider
see.
that versus so but now it's like, well, there's a slight there's slight alpha arbitrage, whatever. There's a slight benefit if you still get the apartment. So that has recently changed over the last year.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's amazing how, yeah, how things can change like that. What might not be smart one time, then change the circumstances a little bit, and it might be a wise area to go. It's. I like to think, Victor, that I'll change my mind on any subject given new evidence. I like to
Mm,
think that I'm
yeah.
open minded enough. So I started my business in the '90s, a tech firm helping businesses with their technology, and was working way too hard. And next, putting my health. I know you're very much into fitness. Putting my health in the back seat, and next thing I know, I'm at the doctor. I'm up. She tells me I'm at 340 pounds. So I've gained a
Oh,
lot of weight, and
oh
I
my
didn't
Lord.
even. I was in my 20s, and I didn't know that. I knew I gotten bigger, but I didn't. And so she says to me, if you don't lose this weight, you're not going to see your daughter graduate. My daughter was just born. So this
Mm,
scared the life out of me. I'm driving home, punching the steering wheel. I did this myself. I can
mm,
abuse me all I want, Victor, but I have this family now, right? I have more than myself.
yeah.
So spent the next about 6, 7 months, lost about 120 pounds, kept it off, right? So you can't look at these things as a finishing line, just like in finance, right? These are like lifelong changes you have to make. They're not temporary. You have to make these changes permanent. So when I tell people this story, they're always, what's your secret? What you do? How'd you lose all the weight? And there's no secret. Discipline.
Mm,
That's how
yeah.
I got willpower, focus, you know, uh, routine, all I think under discipline. How does discipline play a role in your life?
Yeah, so a strong point you mentioned because sometimes as people think about all the effort, but small things like habit stacking, atomic habits, he talks about
Yeah.
it, habit stacking. There are some things you do every day and you don't even think about it, but you just do it and you're used to it. And then if you habit stack is a good way to, then get into a situation where you're building the right habits. Okay, so now discipline. How that comes in is the more disciplined you are, the easier it is to habit stack, the easier it is to put new habits even without habit stacking. Okay, so discipline kind of supercharges any accomplishment you want. Going back to the client I mentioned now about the 1 million and trying to push it to 20 million.
Hmm.
The more disciplined he is, the faster he gets there. And discipline as well needs to be and I guess the thing with discipline, right? It needs to go with other things, So yes, be disciplined and stick to your goals, but at the same time be open. Because if
Hmm.
you're just disciplined and you're sticking to your goals and that goal or strategy is not the right strategy, it's like, well, you're disciplined for the wrong reasons,
Hmm.
So discipline to me really supercharges things. And look, I was very lucky all these attitudes, all these good attitudes that I have or that I think I have, what I got growing up. So mom was a teacher, dad was a soldier. That's as
Wow.
disciplined as a household as you can
Yes.
get,
Yes, it is.
without actually joining the military. That's as disciplined as it can get. So, yeah, lots of my discipline came from there, and mom was just amazing as always getting us think about the future, saying, think about future, think about future. Everything you do is about the future. Uh, so over that time, I've kind of even coined the phrase that, and I stole this from you, the average of the top 5 people you hang out with. I always tell people Your wealth is the average of the last 5 years of what you've done.
Wow.
Okay, and that really just tells people that it's not a jump in now, do something for 1 2 months and you're done. It's like no, it's the average of the last 5 years of your decisions around money, and that translates into the more disciplined you are, the more decisions, the more better decisions you can make. So I think it's huge for wealth management for anything.
Hmm.
It is pretty important. So yeah, I
A teacher
I
and a
don't know if I
business.
can. Yeah. So I was gonna say I don't know if I can trademark that. You know, your wealth is the average, or do something with that and just make it
Right.
mine.
What motivates you now, Victor? What motivates you?
Yeah. So for me, it's all about um family. So trying to be in a position where I can help family, be there for family. Um, the Another thing as well, I read about. I think the book's name is actually called Comfort Crisis. I think that's the book's name, and it talks about how people get stagnant after a while of getting some level of success.
Hmm.
Okay, and it talks about how you can get rid of that is one, always plan ahead and have ambitious goals or something you're working towards. So I have my 5 10 year goals that I want to accomplish certain things. So those in itself keep me motivated. Yeah. So on the fitness side, I hope to be the fittest I think now I'm actually fit as I've ever been. Okay. Strength, cardio, VO2
Hmm.
max, and all that stuff. Yeah, I am. So, but I hope to be the fittest in my life in 5 years' time when anyone looks at my life. So if you think about that, it's like, well, as you get older, it gets harder. So, but it's like if you want to do that, I need to be a lot fitter than I am now. So that keeps me motivated. As to okay, why am I still going and and working this hard in the gym? Compared to other people, and sometimes you can see that because in my gym sometimes I'm there sweating and people are like, what's this guy training for?
Mm.
So and same with finance, same with anything. It's like, well, the goals are still fairly ambitious, so that would keep you motivated, especially when I'm someone that I don't like failing, but I have failed a lot, so but that definitely keeps me motivated.
So it's motivation. You're talking about kind of legacy and impact. It would seem that kind of summarizes. So, given that motivation, how do you measure success?
Yeah, and this another thing that many successful people, or just many people in general, actually fall short of. We just never look back. Going back to this example I gave about this guy who's zero now is making $1 million. He wasn't looking back.
Hmm.
He didn't look back at the last 5 years saying, "What have I accomplished?" So that's where when you want to measure success, it has to be against what you have done, how far you've come, versus anyone else. And I know these days with social media and just you being able to see everything and the average what reel is like what 8 seconds or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and then you see someone going from a bum to like having this huge match, and then you think, oh yes. And people don't actually stop and think about it. It's like, well, yeah, you saw that in 8 seconds, but in real life that's probably 10 20 years, and then they measure their own inability to get there in 1 or 2 years time because that's what they watch every day, or that's what you're exposed to. So it has to be against yourself.
Hmm.
It just has to be against yourself. If not, you're gonna get disappointed. There's someone that's always fitter. There's someone always richer. There's someone always sexier. There's someone always better in one way or the other. But if you yourself are just getting slightly better and walking towards what you want and understanding that, then yeah. So I think that's the best measure of success. And it's hard to do, right? As I said, it's just hard to not compare. It's good to be competitive, but don't be jealous or unhealthy comparison. Can really lead to unhappiness.
Comparison is a trap, and social media just leads us is directed on
Yeah,
comparison. Look what this person's doing. How come I'm not? I mean, look at them. They're having fun out there, out wherever on the beach
yeah,
or in the mountains or whatever. And what I mean, social media. wants us to compare so we can. It's terrible, but it's a trap. Just stay. I
Mm,
find staying away from those comparisons is it's really unhealthy because when there's an old proverb, I forget what it is, but I forget who promotes it or who had it, but there's some mountain where you can go and give all your troubles away. But the only
mm.
caveat is when you give them away, you have to take somebody else's with you. And everybody comes back down from the mountain with their own problems again.
Like, no, no, I don't want yours. No,
Don't
thank you.
want those problems at all. I'll take what I got. Right? I think it's I forget maybe it's Native American. I'm not sure, but I think it's wonderful. The message anyway.
Yeah, it is.
The
It is very
wonderful.
wonderful.
Yeah.
What One other thing I'll mention there as well. Recently, well, not recently. I think late last year, read the book The Gap and the Gain by Dan Sullivan and Benjamin Hardy, and it really talked about that concept. It's like, well, most people are looking at the gap, what you're missing.
Mm,
You're not looking at the gain, what you've gained. So I found it
big
a very
difference. Yeah.
good
Yeah.
book to just help people realize that, okay, yeah, some things are just the way they are, and as long as you're getting better, sometimes it's not even about getting better. Doing the things you can to get better. Generally, if you're doing the right things, you will get better. But
Mm.
it's just understanding and getting help when you need help, because someone knows an easier, better way to do what you want. Going back to this client as well, that 1 to 20 million, he can get a perfect mentor that kind of knows everything and speeds that up for him.
Yeah.
So someone
Well
has done
said.
it. Mm.
Many have done it. Yeah. Want to show your love for discipline, inspiration, and the Joey Pinz podcast? Now's your chance. Introducing the brand new Joey Pinz merch store, where style meets discipline. Choose from premium apparel, cozy hoodies, stylish hats, durable bags, and your new favorite coffee mug, all featuring the iconic Joey Pinz logo. Perfect for podcast fans, discipline enthusiasts, or as unique gifts for friends and family. Every purchase supports the Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations podcast, helping us continue to inspire greatness and promote positive change. Visit joeypins.com/store today and wear your discipline proudly. Joey Pinz merch. Wear it, share it, and live it. Yeah, try to be happy now. The whole kind of I'll be happy when I lose the weight or
Mm.
when I get the raise or when this happens. You're in charge of your happiness. Nobody else is, it's just,
Yeah.
I know it's easy to say. It's very easy to say sometimes, but I just kind of reflect on that a bit. Victor, I'm so glad we set this up. I was excited to talk to you still now. I love your energy. I love your podcast. You're an author, you're a podcast, you're financial wealth advisor. You do it all. Thank you so much. Anybody watching or listening, how can they get in touch with you?
Yeah, so you can get in touch with me with Instagram. I've started a professional Instagram. So yeah, slowly building that. But look, do lots of videos on there, and yeah, it's a
You do.
easy way to get in touch with me. So the handle is I am Victor Idoko. So it's just I am, and then my full name. LinkedIn as well. So have a huge connection based on LinkedIn and look usually active on there. So LinkedIn as well, Victor Idoko. And then there are a few Victor Idokos, but with me, you would know I'm the one with all those letters next to my name, the
Yes.
17
All
years of
those
studies.
certifications. Yes. Yes.
So LinkedIn, and yeah, just on our website as well. So our website is www.cfvadvisory.com.au.
I thought it was CFV Services.
Yeah, so good. Yeah, we've recently just changed names because
Ah.
people were thinking I'm a cleaning company,
Oh, no.
and I was like, no, no, we do financial planning, totally different.
It's kind of
So we just
cleaning, cleaning with your wealth, but
e- exactly, yeah, we clean up your wealth. So just had to change the name. So either of those CFV services or CFV advisory will route you to the right website. Yeah.
and
.com.au.
Idoko, your last name is Idoko, pronounced Idoko.
Correct.
I
Yeah,
thank you so
pronounced
much.
Idoko.
Next time I'm in the Sydney area there down under, perhaps we'll get a cup of tea.
I will be very disappointed if I hear you down under and I did not get to have a cup of tea with you.
Very good, my friend. You be well. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, no worries. Thanks.
Thank you for listening and or viewing Joey Pinz Discipline Conversations. Please share this episode with one or two of your friends who you think may benefit from the episode. Our website, www.joeypins.com. There you'll find lots of resources and you could join our mailing list. Please follow us on all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Podcast information, the video version of our podcast is on YouTube. Please subscribe. Audio is on all major podcasting platforms. Please follow them. And if you like it, please consider giving 5-star rating. Would really appreciate that. Thank you again for listening or watching Joey Pin's Discipline Conversations.